Hi everyone, Lisa here with Mini Me in Tennessee, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I am a weight loss surgery gastric bypass patient, and gastric bypass is a weight loss surgery procedure. There are quite a few to choose from. Gastric bypass was the way for me to go. It has been an awesome tool to help me lose over 110 pounds, and I'm about 23 months post-op. There is more information in my description box below regarding weight loss surgery, who I had surgery with, and other information. If you're interested in that, just head on down to my description box and check it out. Today's video is a Q&A video. I went into some comments and pulled out 5 questions that I felt were really good questions, and a lot of you guys that are out there watching me today might be interested to know the answers for. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump in. One of the questions I recently received was, how long was it after surgery before I could return to work? Now, keep in mind, each person's body is different. So it's going to depend on your personal body type, how quickly you particularly recover from surgery, if you've ever had surgery before. If you haven't, it might take you a little bit longer because you're not quite used to what's going on and how your body's going to react to things. With weight loss surgery, when you're newly post-op, you can be very, very low energy, be very tired, be very drained, because you're taking in so few calories and carbs and liquids. Your body will just feel really, really tired. And for me personally, I took 3 weeks off from work. I don't currently work outside the home, but at the time of my surgery, I did. I was a office worker, basically. I sat all day. So I could have probably gone back 2 weeks post-op, but I had enough time that I took 3 weeks, and I had never had surgery before, so I wasn't really sure how my body was going to react to it. And I was really glad that I did take the 3 weeks, because when I did return to work, I was, especially like the first few days, I was so tired by halfway through the day. And at 2 weeks, it probably would have been even more extreme. If you're someone who has a more physical job, that will probably be a longer time period for you. I think for nurses, for example, someone who's doing a lot of lifting and pulling and tugging and those kinds of things, he limited it to 6 weeks post-op. So keep that in mind if you have a type of job where you're doing a lot of physical activity. And for me, I actually had them write me out for 4 weeks initially on the FMLA paperwork, and then they can easily just write you a return to work note before that 4 weeks hits if you're ready to go back before then. So I would have them go ahead and extend it, because typically it does cost money to have that paperwork completed by the surgeon's office. So keep that in mind as well. Ask them up front about it. And that way you can kind of go out a little bit further than what you think you need, and it will save you money on having to have that paperwork completed again. So yeah, keep that in mind as well. But I would say just, you have to read your body. If you're someone who's had surgery before and you know what's going to happen, you know what to expect, you know how your body's going to react, you probably won't need as long as me. And it also depends on complications. If you have complications from surgery, it may take you a little bit longer to get back to work. So keep that in mind as well. Make sure you have plenty of vacation time or sick pay or, those kinds of things saved up for your surgery, because it's going to affect your income if you don't, right? So all of these things, if you're just now thinking about having surgery, are things to keep in mind. The second question I'm going to talk about is sort of a 2-part question, and this is concerning clothing after weight loss surgery. And for us gals especially, this is a big concern for us. And I had someone ask me how I kind of handled the clothing situation as I was losing weight, and because if you follow me, you know I'm doing Stitch Fix right now, but I didn't start Stitch Fix until I had reached my weight loss goal. So if you're planning on doing something like that, a online personal styling service such as Stitch Fix, I would urge you to wait until you've reached your weight loss goal. That way you're not spending a lot of money on clothing while you're still transitioning sizes. Stitch Fix is an awesome service, and it's kind of helping me find my style now that I'm much thinner and a much smaller size than I used to be, because clothing that I can wear now in extra small size 2s is a lot different than what I wore when I was a 2X, 3X, 18, 20. The styles can vary greatly. So yes, rambling aside, your style may transition as well, so keep that in mind. But in the beginning, I actually had a lot of clothing to work with that I had stored, because every size that I had transitioned through as I was gaining weight, I kept. I had it all stored in my attic. I had tons and tons of clothing. There is a video I did right before my surgery, and I showed all you guys all the clothes that I had, and they were various sizes, all the way from the size that I was then, which was at my biggest, a 2X, 3X. I was kind of transitioning into a 3X and a 20 at the time, and all the way down to, I think I had a few size 8s from when I was a lot thinner before. Because if you're like me, you bounce back and forth for years between sizes. I had kept all of those clothes hoping that someday I would get back into them. So I had lots of clothing to work with as I was losing and transitioning into smaller sizes. And sometimes my weight loss was so great, I would even skip sizes at times because I was losing weight so rapidly. I know for a fact that I completely skipped 16s, and tops, you can, you know, they're a little bit more forgiving, but in pants, yeah, I totally skipped through the size 16. I went so fast I didn't even realize, you know, that I had gone into a 16. But I was very fortunate that I had saved all those clothes, so that was a big help to me. If you haven't, I would say hit up people that you know that may have sizes that you can borrow some pieces from, or definitely hit up consignment, hit up thrift stores. Part 2 of this question was they wanted to know what I did with my fat girl clothes once I didn't need them anymore. I did save one outfit from when I was my biggest, and I still have it. I have it tucked away in a drawer. I saved my favorite pair of jeans and my favorite t-shirt from when I was my largest size, and I actually did a video showing that outfit to you guys, and I'll try to find it and link it up here for you. It was like my first body shot video. And then when I did my 1-year surgiversary video, I tried that outfit back on and showed you the difference. So I did keep one outfit just so I could have that to show where I was and how far I'd come. But the rest of it I pretty much gave away. Now I did keep a couple of sizes just in case I had some weight gain in the future and I needed some clothes to transition into until I got that weight back off. So I think that's just a protective thing in my head because I'm so used to that. Still, you know, I've only been this size for 2 years. I was obese for 20 plus years. So I still had that mindset that I needed to keep some clothes in case my weight changed. So I kept anything that was a little bit too big for me, like smalls, mediums, and I think I even kept some larges, but I'm thinking I might go back and get rid of those now. I may be ready to let go of the larges. Yeah, so I may do that soon. But I did keep those. They are in my attic. Everything else from, I think, size, I think I kept 10, as far as pants go, I kept my 4s, my 6s, my 8s, my 10s. But anything from, we'll say 12 up, 12 to 20, and then anything from extra large to 3X, I got rid of. I got it out of my house because I am determined that I am never, ever, ever going back to those sizes, ever. So a lot of them I gave away to family members because obesity does run in my family. So my family members that kind of have tighter budgets and may struggle a little bit. I know, like my mother-in-law she's retired, so she's on a very strict budget. I gave a lot of those things to her and my sister-in-law, and things that I didn't give to them that didn't fit them, weren't their size, they didn't like, I sent to ThredUp. And I have a video on this channel about ThredUp, and I'll link that up here for you as well. It's basically an online consignment store. You can buy and you can sell. If you're someone who is really looking to get as much money out of those clothing items as possible, I recommend you try something else like eBay or Poshmark, or even having a rummage sale, you know, something along those lines. But if you're not too concerned about trying to get as much money back out of it as possible, you're like me, you just wanted it out of your face, out of your house, ThredUp was the way for me to go, because all I had to do was stick it in a bag, set it on my porch, tell the postman to pick it up, and it was gone. So that's what worked for me. So that's what I did with my fat girl clothes. Okay, number 3, I ran across this recently, and someone was asking me about Ensure Nutrition. I've done a couple of videos on Ensure Nutrition, and it's a company that will sort of step in as a middleman for you, between you and your insurance company, and work out a way for you to get free protein shakes, vitamins, creams for your skin, because your skin's changing too. And we all know we need vitamins. And if you're someone who was really on a really strict budget and was struggling maybe a little bit with purchasing those things, they would try to work it out with your insurance company to pay for that. And I did probably get Ensure or protein shakes from Ensure for close to a year, but then my insurance changed, and my insurance plan, my new insurance plan, didn't cover it. But for about a year, I did get free protein shakes, and it was an amazing service. And someone was asking me about that recently, because they ran across that video I did, and they wanted to go check it out. And apparently Ensure Nutrition is no longer. So I thought that was interesting. So I went to their website, and I did a little bit of digging, and yeah, it appears they're no longer there. They're no longer a business. They have closed their doors. So that makes me feel really sad, because that was such a useful service for us. So if you're someone who is needing that type of service, and since Ensure Nutrition is no longer there as the middleman for us, I would probably recommend that you just go ahead and reach out to your insurance company. And this is not something I've done, so I really wouldn't know how that works, or even if it's possible. But go ahead and just reach out to your insurance company and ask them about it and see what they say. It's just a phone call away, and you know, all you can do is get a no, right? So reach out to them, see what they say, and if you have luck there, be sure to come back to this video and put it in the comments below, so that the other viewers in the community can see how that worked for you, and perhaps that will inspire them to reach out to their insurance companies as well. But since Ensure Nutrition is no longer an option, yeah, that would be my recommendation for you, is to reach out to your insurance company and see if they can help you in that regard. Who knows? They might. I mean, Ensure got them to do it, so maybe you can too. Number 4, I had some questions on hair loss. This is a big question that a lot of us have, especially when we're pre-op and we're trying to decide if this is going to be for us or not. Hair loss is going to be different for everybody. Some people have very minimal hair loss. Some people have a lot. For me personally, before surgery, I had a ton of hair. And if you go back and look at some of my early post-op videos or even pre-op videos, you'll see my huge hair. And plus, you know, when it's curly, when I wear it curly, which I do have naturally curly hair, it looks thicker. So if you do have naturally curly hair, that is an option for you as well. You can wear it curly during the hair loss phase. For me, hair loss started around month 4, and I did lose hair between months 4 and month 8. So about 4 months. A lot of people say it's about 3 months for them, but for me it was 4 months. I don't know if that was because I had a lot of hair, or if it was just my body and the way it reacted. I don't know. There's some science behind it, And there's actually a video that I watched early on from Chemistry Queen. She doesn't really do a lot of videos anymore, but if I can find her video, I will. I don't know if I can put it in a card or not. I'll try that. If not, I'll link it in the description box for you. She's a VSG patient, and she's also, I think, a chemist. I believe that was her occupation. Anyway, she explains all the science behind the hair loss, so I will provide that video for you somewhere. But yeah, it's all about science. It's all about how your body's going to react. A lot of people who have thinner hair really struggle with it. I know I have seen some folks out there in the community who you could actually see their scalps. Guys, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just telling you the way it could be for you. I was very blessed that I had a lot of hair. I did lose a lot of hair. Don't get me wrong. I would guess I lost at least 50% of my hair. But because I had so much hair, it didn't really show, but I did still have struggles because it was so much thinner, it was harder to deal with. And then when it starts growing back, which is great, and then it grows back, but it's really a struggle, and I'm still dealing with that. Because, you know, hair grows slowly. It takes a while for it to come back. And I mean, I have pieces, and I have it like plastered to my head right now with hairspray, because all the little baby hairs that I'm still getting are standing straight up on my head. I don't know if you can see any of it now, even if I'm in focus. Hopefully I'm in focus. But yeah, and then I'm trying to grow these bangs out, because it was like I didn't have bangs before, but then when it started growing back in, because, you know, around your hairline is where it's going to show the most, so I grew bangs back, and letting those grow out has just been a pain. And, you know, trying to put your hair up, and you're gonna have, like, I have these little pieces around here that are driving me crazy. They're finally getting long enough now that I can tuck them behind my ear, but they won't stay up. Like when I put my hair up in a ponytail or bun or whatever, they still fall out because they're not quite long enough yet. And that's been driving me crazy. So, I mean, it's part of the struggle, but it's sort of, I try to look at it as war wound, you know, battle scars. It's part of the process. It just is. And that's something you really have to consider if you're deciding whether or not to have the surgery. Is that something you feel you can deal with? It can be so scary, so scary. I was so scared about that, because a lot of times when we're obese, our hair is like our crowning glory. It's what we have that we can actually take pride in, because we feel so badly about the way our bodies look and have such bad body image. We kind of relish in our hair. So yeah, it's definitely a concern. How did I deal with it? How did I try to prevent it? I don't think you can prevent it. I rarely hear of anyone not having hair loss. Very, very few people I've heard of not having hair loss. They tell you to make sure you're getting your protein, that you're taking your vitamins, but that is, to me, not going to stop the hair loss. This is my opinion. Sorry, guys. Take this with a grain of salt. This is my opinion. I don't think there's anything that you can do to prevent the hair loss. I honestly don't. Now, there are things that you can do to help it come back faster, and that was my goal. So I took hair supplements before I had the surgery. As soon as I decided to have weight loss surgery, I started taking hair supplements. And I took the Berry Life hair, nail, and skin supplements. And I will, if I don't already have it linked, I think it is already linked in my description box below. If not, I'll link it for you. Those were great for me when I think I started taking them in January. My surgery was in July, so 6 months. I took them before surgery, and my hair just went crazy. It was growing like crazy, coming in thick like crazy. Even my hairstylist could tell a difference with the thickness of my hair. So that helped a lot too, I think, because I had all this new growth already going on when the hair loss started. So I had that going for me. And I still take those hair skin and nail supplements today, and because your nails will get thin and brittle too, because that's, you know, it's made out of the same stuff that your hair is made out of. So I still take those, and I'm actually out right now. I've been out for a couple months, but I'm going back for my 2-year post-op very soon, so I'm going to grab another bottle while I'm there. But they are available online. All I had to do is go online and get it, but since I'm going into the store or going into my surgeon's office, it will save me on the shipping, so I just kind of waited. But definitely think about that. I did not take any other hair, nail, and skin supplements other than what my surgeon sells, so I can't really review or tell you about any of the others that are out there on the market. I can only talk about the ones that my surgeon sells, because that's all I ever took. And the last question that I pulled out of my comments was my best and worst NSV. And guys, I really haven't thought about this. I wanted to kind of wing it here in the video, and that way you're kind of getting the true best and worst. And I would say my best was when I reached the point where I weighed less than my husband. That was huge for me. Huge for me. But being female, that was something that really bothered me, was weighing more than my husband. I'm much shorter than my husband is. My husband is 6 foot tall and I'm only 5'4". And to weigh more than him really, really bothered me. It really was a mind thing for me. And when I got to the point where I weighed less than him, I was so happy. I can still remember the day that I hit the scale that morning. He was actually in the bathroom with me. We were getting ready for work, and I did a dance, and he was so happy for me because he knew, oh my gosh. Yeah, you can see how big an NSV that was for me. And he was so happy for me. That was the best one, definitely. Yeah. Woo. Yeah. My worst NSV, it's kind of hard to have a worst one. So I really am not sure what the person was looking for when they asked for worst NSV, because an NSV, if you aren't familiar, is a non-scale victory. So basically it's something that we experience from losing weight that's not reflected on the scale. Something that really big that we notice that changed from the weight loss. Like, I can bend over and tie my shoes now, you know. I fit back into the jeans I wore in high school, you know, those kinds of things. Or your wedding dress, you know, that's a big one for some folks. I didn't keep my wedding dress, but for some folks that's a big one, you know, those kinds of things. Those are non-scale victories. So to have a worse non-scale victory, I guess the way I'm perceiving that question is it's something that, here again, is like a battle scar or a war wound of surgery. It's something that was a result that might not necessarily be a good thing. And I would probably say my ulcer. If you're not familiar with my channel, about a year post-op, I was dealing with, I think it was a couple months, actually, in like month 10 or so is when all this started. But I actually had gallstones and an ulcer at the same time, and I was absolutely miserable. Miserable. The gallstones are very painful. And that is a result that some people deal with, or I guess you could call it a complication of weight loss surgery. It's not that common, but it does happen a lot in the community, and it's a result of rapid weight loss. And I did take meds after surgery for that. I can't remember what it's called now, but my surgeon did prescribe me something. I think I took it for like 4 months, and it was supposed to help prevent gallstones, but unfortunately I got them anyway. But I think I was destined to, because both my mother and grandmother had gallstones and they did not have rapid weight loss. So I think I was destined for that sometime in the future anyway. So yeah, so that did happen to me. And what made it really the worst thing was because I had the ulcer at the same time, and my gastrointestinal doctor would not release me to have the gallbladder removal surgery until I healed the ulcer. So I was having the pain not only from the gallstones, which is sometimes horrific, but I was also dealing with the ulcer, which was way worse, guys. Way worse. The pain from the ulcer was unbelievable. And I was missing a lot of work due to it. There was just so much pain. I was in pain for 2 to 3 months before. Oh, it was bad. It was really bad. Yeah. And so I had to take meds to heal the ulcer before I could have the gallbladder out. I haven't had another ulcer. I've just been very careful. We really don't know what caused the ulcer. Basically, when you're a gastric bypass patient, that is a complication. It's very rare. As far as I know, I'm the only one in the weight loss surgery community that does YouTube videos that has had one. But it could have been because I had really had terrible acid reflux prior to my surgery. So maybe my stomach was already, you know, in dire straits because of that. And, you know, they say don't smoke and don't take NSAIDs if you're a gastric bypass because that could cause an ulcer. But I didn't do either one of those things. So I think it was a combination of that and stress because I was going through a lot in my personal life at the time as well. So, yeah. But if I had to pick a worst NSV, I guess that's it because I'm rambling and I do that. Sorry guys, but it was a result of the weight loss in the weight loss surgery that I had these things. So yeah, there's that. All right guys, that's gonna do it for my weight loss surgery Q&A video today. I hope you guys enjoyed my video, and if you have any more questions for me, be sure to drop them in the comments below and I will try to address them as quickly as possible. And I promise I'm going to get better at that. I made it a promise to myself and a promise to you. And I'm going to start scheduling time in my day to respond to comments on both this channel and my lifestyle channel. If you're not familiar, I do have another channel. It's a lifestyle channel. I do cleaning, shopping hauls, clothing try-ons, just a huge variety of videos, and I'll link that up there for you as well. I always get mixed up on which side it is. It will be up here in a card, and it's also in my description box below. So yeah, check that out as well if you're not following me there. So yeah, guys, thanks again for joining me today, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Are we focused? Are we focused? Okay, let's try this again. So sorry. Because you're taking in, yeah. Strike that.